Hi students, I wanted to go over this page 19 going further graph. It's something that I'm asking you to do and complete, and so I wanted to show you how I am going to do it. It says the table shows the number of risk factors for metabolic syndrome in college linemen. So this is from our reading. You can see it's the same person, scientist Jackie Breuel, and she basically tracked risk factors for metabolic syndrome with college football players. So here is Division I players here, Division II players here, and Division III players here. And then here is the number of risk factors they have. So you can see here that the number of risk factors for division that had no risk factors, Division I had 0 people with no risk factors for metabolic syndrome. Division II had 1 person, Division III had 0. For a total of one player had no risk factors for metabolic syndrome. And for having 1 metabolic syndrome risk factor, you had Division I had 3 players, Division II had 5, and Division III had 5, and 5 plus 5 plus 3 is 13. So then I want to show you the columns going down as well, how many total players there were. So the first one says, which division had the largest sample? So we're working on this question here. Which division had the largest sample? Well, you're going to have to add up the divisions. So that means add it up going down this way. Okay. So I'm going to add up column for Division I. They had 0 players plus 3 plus 10. 3 plus 10 is 13 plus 7. 13 plus 7 is 20 plus 2 more is 22. So I'm going to write a little note here that there were 22 players in Division I. You're going to need to go and add up Division II right here and Division III, and then that will be the answer here. Which division had the largest sample? And you're going to write division, and you don't know. I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure that out. Had the largest. Then the next thing is which division had the largest percentage of participants with 3 or more risk factors. So 3 risk factors is here. So who had the most players with 3 or more? So we're going to specifically be looking here at the 3, 4, and 5. So I'll put my ruler here, and you're going to go through and now add up how many players had 3 or more. So Division I had 7 plus 2, that's 9 players. And Division II had 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. And then you're going to add up the last one and figure out which had the largest percentage of participants. So you're going to have to divide by the total number. So then the next one is going to be, well, let me show you how to get a percentage. You're going to go, like Division I had 9 players. There was a total of 22. You're going to put it into your calculator or just figure it out. 9 divided by 22 is what you're going to put in your calculator. So you're going to figure that out, and I won't do the longhand here to show you because you can just figure that out. And that'll be the percentage for Division I. For Division II, you're going to take the total number of players, and you're going to put 15 players that had the metabolic 3 or more risk factors divided by the total. And your total, and you're going to get an answer. And you're going to compare those. Then the next one is you're going to construct a line graph that shows the number of risk factors and the number of athletes that possess these risk factors. So you're going to draw a graph. You can use a ruler to make it nice and straight. I'm going to do the lazy way and just use the edge of a book because I've done a lot of graphs in my life, and I find that that's a pretty quick way to get a nice little square. So you're going to construct a graph that shows the number of risk factors, that's right here, This should be on your x-axis. So number of risk factors. Make sure you label here, please. Number of risk factors and the number of athletes. So that's the total number of athletes there. So number of athletes on your y-axis. So you've got your x-axis and your y-axis. Then make sure that you title this graph. So you could use this same title from up here. I'm just gonna write title because I want you to come up with a title, okay? And I'll put a question mark so you don't just write the word title. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna number this. So you're gonna have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then the players, the largest your number ever gets is 10. So you're gonna go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somehow I drew that pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. All right. Then you are going to take your numbers here, 0, and you're going to graph this number over here, 1. So I'm going to go over 0 and up to 1, and I'm going to put a dot. And that dealt with that one, okay? Then for the next number, you're going to use this column here and the last column. I'm going to go over 1 and up to 13. So actually I should have had this go much higher. So I'm going to go over 1 and up to 13. Let's say that's up here. We have to make our graph taller. So obviously you're going to have to do this a little neater. I'm going to go over to 1 and up to 13, and I'm going to put a dot. Actually, I'm going to put it a little higher. Ignore that one. I'm doing it in marker so you guys can really see it, but that also means I can't make mistakes. So then I'm going to graph it, and then I'm going to go through and graph it like that. Okay? So then you're going to ask your last question, if you were a doctor training these athletes, what would your advice be? And you need to give some advice. So I hope that helps you get started with your graph. If I was to do this over again, I would probably skip by 2s going up here. I would probably go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, just to squish that down a little bit. Anyways, good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you turn in.